Stories from the Quran. The story of Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Surah Yusuf. Yusuf alayhi salam. From the well to Egypt. Yusuf alayhi salam remained in the well, alone and helpless. A passing caravan eventually stopped at the well to draw water. When they lowered their bucket, they were astonished to find a young boy instead of water. Seeing his beauty and noble appearance, they recognized that he could be valuable. Instead of helping him return home, they decided to take him to Egypt and sell him as a slave. This moment was a turning point in Yusuf alayhi salam's life. Although he was taken away from his home, it was all part of Allah's greater plan for his future. The traders sold Yusuf alayhi salam for a very low price, showing they did not recognize his worth. Yusuf alayhi salam was purchased by a high-ranking Egyptian official, Al-Aziz, who saw potential in him. He told his wife to care for Yusuf alayhi salam, considering that he might be useful or even adopted. However, this was all part of Allah's divine plan to raise Yusuf alayhi salam for a higher purpose. As Yusuf alayhi salam grew up in Al-Aziz's household, Allah blessed him with wisdom, intelligence, and beauty. His character and abilities began to shine, making him stand out. Despite the hardships he had faced, he remained devoted to Allah and did not let his circumstances weaken his faith. Allah was preparing him for a significant leadership role in the future. This teaches us that, even when we face challenges, Allah is shaping us for something greater. As Yusuf alayhi salam grew into a handsome and virtuous young man, he caught the attention of Al-Aziz's wife, Zulaikha. She became infatuated with him and one day attempted to seduce him. She locked the doors and invited him to sin. However, Yusuf alayhi salam, being a righteous servant of Allah, immediately sought refuge in his faith. He rejected her advances, saying, "I seek refuge in Allah." He knew that giving in to temptation would be a betrayal of both his master and, more importantly, Allah. As he tried to escape from the room, Zulaikha grabbed his shirt and tore it from behind. This incident set the stage for a major trial in Yusuf alayhi salam's life, but his steadfastness in resisting temptation teaches us the importance of fearing Allah and maintaining integrity even in difficult situations. When they reached the door, Al-Aziz saw them, and Zulaikha, fearing exposure, falsely accused Yusuf alayhi salam of wrongdoing. Yusuf alayhi salam defended himself by stating the truth that she was the one who tried to seduce him. A wise member of Zulaikha's family suggested checking Yusuf alayhi salam's shirt as evidence to determine who was truthful. The family member reasoned that if Yusuf alayhi salam's shirt was torn from the front, it would mean he was guilty, but if it was torn from the back, it would prove that he was fleeing and that the woman was lying. When her husband saw that Yusuf alayhi salam's shirt was torn from the back, he realized that Yusuf alayhi salam was innocent and that his wife was lying. Yusuf alayhi salam was declared innocent, showing that truth always prevails and justice requires clear evidence. Al-Aziz told Yusuf alayhi salam to stay silent and avoid the matter, while he instructed his wife to repent for her actions. However, he did not take further action against her. News of the incident spread among the elite women, who mocked Zulaikha for desiring her servant. They viewed it as scandalous and shameful. When the wife of Al-Aziz heard the women's gossip, she invited them to a gathering, gave them knives, and presented Yusuf alayhi salam before them. Stunned by his beauty, they accidentally cut their hands while cutting fruit, expressing how they could not believe a human could possess such beauty. They thought he was an angel. The wife of Al-Aziz openly acknowledges her attempt to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam and justifies her actions to the women who had blamed her. She admits her admiration for his beauty and character, stating that if he does not comply with her desires, she will have him imprisoned and humiliated. This verse highlights her arrogance and misuse of power, as she tries to manipulate Yusuf alayhi salam through threats despite his innocence. Yusuf alayhi salam turns to Allah seeking His help and protection. He prays, saying that prison is more preferable to him than committing the sinful act the women are inviting him to. He acknowledges his weakness as a human and asks Allah to turn their schemes away from him. This verse highlights Yusuf alayhi salam's deep faith, sincerity, and reliance on Allah to safeguard his chastity and moral integrity. Allah responds to Yusuf alayhi salam's sincere prayer and diverts the women's schemes away from him. This verse emphasizes that true protection from sin comes from Allah alone. Since Yusuf alayhi salam was a devoted servant, Allah safeguarded him from wrongdoing, reinforcing that those who seek His help with sincerity will be guided and protected. Despite recognizing Yusuf alayhi salam's innocence, the authorities decided to imprison him for a period of time. This was done to suppress the scandal and protect the reputation of Al-Aziz's wife. This verse highlights how sometimes truth and justice may be overlooked for personal or societal interests, but Allah's plan always prevails in the end. Lessons we learn. Despite being abandoned in the well and sold into slavery, Yusuf alayhi salam was always under Allah's protection, showing that hardships can be part of a greater plan. The wife of Al-Aziz tried to seduce Yusuf alayhi salam, but he resisted, showing the importance of fearing Allah and staying away from sin. Yusuf alayhi salam remained patient and steadfast, whether in slavery or facing false accusations, teaching us to trust in Allah during difficulties.